Big Sonic, are we just like physical like bodies? Do we have anything other than our physical bodies? I was always wondering about this, like, how come like we're just like we have like this physical body, but is there something else to us? Is there something else inside of us? Or is it just we are just like our organs and our like physical bodies? Are we just our physical bodies and our organs and our muscle tissue and all of our like chemistry in our bodies? Is that all we are? Are we just a bunch of different types of, are we just like a big fat collection of cells and stuff in like body tissue and muscle tissue and other types of tissues and organic fluids? Do we have any other type of thing in us, inside of us? Big Sonic, is there anything more like more extraordinary, anything more like supernatural, something that's like beyond like this physical world? Do we have anything else inside of us? Because I do find it very odd that we can experience this reality and this world with our physical bodies and stuff. It's so weird to me how we can do that. Why aren't we just like fucking robots? Why aren't we brain dead? Why can we experience things and have these emotions and feelings? I do feel, Big Sonic, that there has to be something else inside of us. What do you think about this, Big Sonic? Well, Small Sonic, these types of questions are they're quite impossible to answer and stuff like that. Is there something else to us? I don't know. I get where you're coming from, though. I have this type of experience as well. We have all these experiences with life, and we have all these emotions in us and stuff, and we have like all these like sensory like perceptions and stuff. And so it is kind of odd. It does feel like there's almost like a type of soul inside of us and stuff. That's kind of very bizarre. I don't know, Small Sonic. Are we just like our physical bodies and cells and organs and muscle tissue and bodily fluids? Is that all we are? Is there something else? Small Sonic. Did I say Big Sonic to you? I'm Big Sonic. He's Small Sonic. I don't know. These types of questions are impossible to answer, Small Sonic. I quite frankly cannot even like begin to like talk about these types of issues and these types of questions. Big Sonic, I have all of these like emotions and feelings. I can see the world with these eyes and stuff. I know it almost feels like there has to be something else inside of us. We can't just be like our physical bodies, just a collection of cells and molecules and atoms and bodily fluids and muscle tissue and body tissue. Is that all we are, Big Sonic? Is there anything else inside of us, Big Sonic? Are we just a bunch of like fucking collection of cells and atoms and molecules and bodily fluids? Is there anything else inside of us, Big Sonic? Small Sonic, I mean, these types of questions are very difficult. I mean, we can't see anything else. All we can see from like our physical material world is like a bunch of cells and bodily fluids and muscle tissue and all the other types of anatomy parts and stuff. I don't believe we can see anything else like more supernatural inside of our bodies. It's very difficult to talk about this, Small Sonic. I do know where you're coming from, though. It does feel as if like there has to be something else to us and stuff. I just don't know, Small Sonic. Big Sonic, I know there has to be something else to us. We can't just be a bunch of cells, a collection of cells and atoms and molecules and bodily fluids and like tissue and stuff, all that type of stuff, anatomy parts. Is that all we are, Big Sonic? Just a bunch of cells and atoms and molecules and bodily fluids and collections of like different types of tissues and stuff, muscle tissue, body tissue, all types of tissues and anatomy parts. There has to be something else to us, Big Sonic. Come on, tell me that there has to be something else to us, Big Sonic. I know this for sure, Big Sonic. Small Sonic, again, these types of questions are impossible to talk about and answer. I mean, from what we can tell in our materialistic world and stuff, it just appeared to be that us like hedgehogs, we are just like made of cells and like anatomy parts and molecules and bodily fluids. I don't believe there is like anything else to us. I believe that we're just a bunch of cells and molecules and atoms and stuff. It's very difficult for me to even begin to think about this, Small Sonic. You're making my brain get on fire. Big Sonic, I know for sure there has to be something else to us. We can't just be a collection of molecules and atoms and cells and bodily fluids and muscle tissue and organs and anatomy parts. There has to be something else to us, Big Sonic. Small Sonic, these questions are so difficult. You're making me get very frustrated. I'm getting all this type of mental fatigue. You're making me think about these types of issues are very difficult to handle. But Big Sonic, I need to know for sure that there has to be something else to us. We have to have like some type of soul, right? We can't just be fucking biological machines, biological robots. We're just a bunch of like collection of cells and molecules and bodily fluids and muscle tissue and organs and all that type of stuff. I know for sure there has to be something else to us. Big Sonic, come on, please make me feel better. Tell me that there is something else to us. Well, Small Sonic, I quite frankly cannot even begin to like answer these types of questions Because from what we can tell, it just appeared to be that we're just like a collection of cells and molecules and atoms and anatomy parts and all that type of stuff. I don't know. Small Sonic, these types of questions are impossible to answer. Whether or not we have a soul or whether or not we're just biological machines and robots, I don't know. Small Sonic, Big Sonic, come on, please tell me. I'm suffering from an existential crisis, Big Sonic. Please tell me, Big Sonic, that we have a soul, there's something else to us. We're not just biological robots, machines, collections of cells and molecules and atoms and bodily fluids and anatomy parts. There has to be something else to us. Big Sonic, please tell me that there's something else to us. Small Sonic, I don't know. I'm gonna have to like think about this, Big Sonic. I'm suffering from an existential crisis. I'm gonna have to go, run away and think about this. Well, okay, Small Sonic. Oh, damn, he's getting very like upset. I'm gonna have to think about this as well. I'm getting very mentally fatigued. I'm gonna take a little bit of a nap. Da da da! The topic of this video is going to be about spirituality. Spirituality. This is like a very weird topic. Spirituality. What am I going to talk about now? Spirituality is kind of, I'm kind of taking like the mick out of it because spirituality is so fucking what does it mean to be a spiritual? It's so fucking stupid. What does it mean to be spiritual? It's fucking so. There's like so many like misconceptions about spirituality. Like what does it actually mean to be like spiritual? Does it mean that you need to be like or what does it mean? What do I mean by spirituality? Because especially in the Western world, there's like so many different types of misconceptions. Spirituality it's been kind of heavily like dumbed down, misconstrued, like misrepresented, like heavily like turned into something that's very comedic and stupid. Spirituality typically like even like when I even begin to talk about this spirituality, you're gonna have like all these like kind of misconceptions about it. Oh, spirituality, are you gonna tell me to become like some type of hippie and stuff, grow my hair out, get body tattoos, become a vegan, vegetarian? That's what spirituality, there's so many different types of misconceptions about what is spirituality. What does it mean to be spirituality? What does it mean to be spiritual? It's because spirituality and these types of like terminologies and terms and stuff like that and words, especially in the Western world, they've been fucking done to death. They've been fucking dragged through the mud. They've been fucking raped by like all these like bad stereotypes. Spirituality. This is so important. I'm telling you for sure. Spirituality, like. You cannot like be some type of materialistic person, some type of materialist. All you care about is like the physical material world and getting a lot of money, getting a lot of women. That's all you care about, and getting other types of material goods. Look, I got this PS5, man. Look at that. Look how sick that is, man. Yo. Look at the sickness of that, man. Yo, the PS5, got a bunch of PS5 games, got a nice computer and stuff. Look at all this stuff. All these fucking action figures. This cool Afghan hat. Look at that, man. Look at that. I spend money on this type of hat because I just like the look of it. It's like a little Paco hat. You should know what that is. Like very cool looking. I just want to get like it. Got a bunch of different types of old PlayStation stuff, action figures, some old computer. I'm not because I am like I do care about like materialistic things. Us human beings, we're all like naturally like very materialistic. We care about like things that are like we are like materialistic creatures. I'm not gonna be a dumbass and say, oh, you should not be material. You should not care about materialistic things. You should not be materialistic because us human beings, for fuck's sake, it's like it's written into like our biology. It's in our brains. It's like such a primal caveman like instinct thing for us human beings that we like things that are like good, nice and expensive and like shiny and pretty and stuff. We like those types of things. Like this big PS5, fucking hell, the PS5. I don't want to waste too much time on the PS5. Getting the PS5's been fucking amazing. It was so hard to get it. I've actually managed to get it. It's fucking amazing. It's like a miracle. I don't know, but like spirituality. The reason I'm talking about spirituality is because if you don't even give two fucks about spirituality, if you don't care about spirituality and spiritualism and the spiritualness and whatever, and the word spirituality and the word spiritual, if you don't give two fucks about these types of things, and all you care about is like the materialistic world, all you care about is like being like some type of materialistic person, getting a lot of money, getting a lot of women, getting a lot of expensive cars, whatever you're into. Like there's a bunch of different types of like materialistic things that you might be obsessed about, like video games. For me, like the PS5. But anyway, if you're just materialistic, if you only care about the material world, you're gonna be like so like at the end of your life, you're gonna be so like unfulfilled, unhappy, depressed, miserable, sad. I'm telling you, look at all of these like rich celebrities. Robin Williams, it's like such a good example. He had everything going for him. He had a good career, a lot of money going his way, a lot of expensive cars. He probably could sleep with a lot of like attractive women, but what the fuck happened to him? He became fucking suicidal and depressed, and he offed himself. Because all of these types of things, these materialistic things like money, women, cars, expensive cars, whatever you're into, like video game consoles and whatever, computers, whatever, all these sorts of things, they can only offer you like a very temporary form of like happiness and fulfillment. I'm telling you for sure. I know, is there like something called like the law of like diminishing returns? I don't know. Like you get something and it's very novel. You get something brand new and it's like, let's say you got like your favorite car or you get like a PS5 like I did. It feels like so like great to have that thing in the moment. It feels like so great and like satisfactory, and it's all you have, like, because it's a brand new thing that you got now, and it's so novel and you're enjoying it. But over time you start to get sort of like kind of numbed by that thing. You start to like lose satisfaction in that thing. This is like the law of diminishing returns anyway. That's kind of like the issue with like materialism, caring about like money, getting a lot of money, getting a lot of women, getting a lot of expensive cars, all these things. They will only provide you like a very temporary form of satisfaction. Inevitably these things are just gonna like become mundane, boring. They're not gonna fulfill you in any type of meaningful way. They're gonna actually maybe even potentially harm you, especially like if you're chasing after money, women, expensive cars. These things, it's like a hamster going on a wheel. You're trying to like get some, you're trying to like experience some type of real like fulfillment and happiness and joy. But these things like chasing money, women, cars, any other type of materialistic thing, all these like expensive things, chasing them, it's like a hamster going on a wheel. It's like an endless cycle. You're trying to like, you actually want like some type of fulfillment and happiness and joy, and you're chasing all these like materialistic things, and you think that's what's gonna give you all the like the happiness and joy and fulfillment, not realizing, right, that you're just a hamster on a wheel. You're endlessly like chasing things that are just that aren't gonna make you happy and stuff. And so chasing things that are so temporary and meaningless and aren't really going to like improve your life in terms of like happiness and joy and fulfillment. It's like a hamster on a wheel. A lot of us human beings, we always like go after these types of very materialistic things. We want to get a lot of money, a lot of women, a lot of expensive cars, video game consoles, all these types of materialistic things. It's like a hamster going on a wheel. I know all of us human beings, we want something that will fulfill us. We want fulfillment for sure. A lot of us human beings, we want fulfillment, and we're chasing these materialistic things, cars, women, money, all of these types of things, like a hamster going on a wheel. We think that that's what's going to give us any type of like meaningful fulfillment. We all know that that's bullshit. Look at all these like famous celebrities, Robin Williams, there's countless others that I can't even like name right now. They all fucking off themselves. Why though? They have all the money, they have all like the types of women that they could get with, they have all the expensive cars, they still fucking off themselves. Why is that? Robin Williams, he had like all the money, he had like a nice career, all that type of stuff. He still fucking off himself because these things, it's like a hamster going on a wheel. That's the issue with like a materialism. If you're like very materialistic, if you only care about getting a lot of women, cars, expensive things, these like expensive things, they can only give you like a very temporary form of like fulfillment and happiness, because these things, they become like mundane and meaningless after a while. They become so like mediocre, and almost like they might even like kind of make you depressed and sad after a while. You know, it's like so important to understand this. Like spirituality is so important. But what is spirituality? If you're from like the Western world, it's very like dumbed down and made stupid now. Spirituality, oh, you're telling me to be a hippie and become a vegan and a vegetarian and stuff, and to fucking dye my hair and stuff, and to like paint my nails or some gay shit, I don't know. You're telling me to turn into a faggot? No. Spirituality is like so important. I know what you're thinking though, because especially like in America and stuff like that, in these like, Western countries, I'm in England, but anyway, there's like all these like misconceptions about spirituality. What does it mean to be spiritual? Do you need to like be a faggot, like become a vegan vegetarian, and paint your nails and color your hair and stuff, and you need to like put tattoos on your body, and you need to like become like a Hindu person and stuff and follow Hinduism and like be like pretend to be Indian, a Hindu Indian. It's fucking dumb. There's so many fucking stupid things like to do like that. Like, there's like spirituality has been so dumbed down, like our understandings of it, and like what does it mean to be spiritual and to have like some type of spirituality in you. It's so dumb to me. No, again, anyway, to bring it back to like materialism, because if you don't give two fucks and two shits about spirituality, spiritual stuff, you're probably gonna just be a materialistic person. All you're gonna be caring about is like getting a lot of money, a lot of women, a lot of expensive cars, a lot of nice materialistic things like this PS5 there. If you only like, again, it's gonna be like a hamster on a wheel. I'm telling you, if you choose materialism, if you just want to be like a materialistic person, and you're not gonna you don't want to give two shits about spirituality and spirit, whatever it means to be spiritual, you're going to be fucking in for like a very bad surprise. You're going to be so miserable and sad and depressed. I'm telling you for sure, at the end of your life, if you choose this type of materialistic path, materialism and materialistic stuff and stuff, you only care about like getting a lot of money, getting a lot of expensive things, getting with a lot of women and stuff like that, all these types of materialistic things. If that's all you're going to care about, I'm telling you for sure, you're going to be so fucking depressed at the end of your life. And again, look at Robin Williams, all these like celebrities, they have all the money, they got the nice careers, they got a lot of these celebrities, they get a lot of women and stuff around them, and they can sleep with any type of woman they want, any woman that's like very decently attractive, they can get with it instantly and stuff and fulfill their sexual needs and stuff like that, but they still fucking off themselves at the end. What the fuck is going on with that? What is it with like all these like very famous celebrities just offing themselves? It's because, you know, materialism, becoming like some type of materialistic person, you know, it's like a hamster on a wheel, I'm telling you for sure. It's like a hamster on a wheel. You want fulfillment, but you're just going in like this fucking endless cycle. You want to get like some type of real fulfillment in you. You want to feel joy and happiness. It's again a hamster on a wheel. Like just like how a hamster runs like on a wheel, is ultimately it's kind of pointless. It becomes kind of pointless after a while. It's just like maybe perhaps you can get like some type of cardio exercise going for the hamster. I don't know, but for you as human beings, like the analogy is that it's like an endless cycle. You want to like experience some type of real fulfillment and joy, but you're chasing these types of materialistic things, and that's not going to lead you to anywhere meaningful. The law of diminishing returns. You get something brand new, it's very novel at the beginning, but then it becomes kind of mundane and boring, and it doesn't offer you any type of real fulfillment and happiness after a while. You like get a Lamborghini, you got like a new brand new Lamborghini. It's amazing, but after a while it gets boring and mundane. This is why spirituality is so important. You chasing the spiritual world. I don't know, whatever that is, with the spirituality of a lot of scientists and atheists will be looking at me like, well, this guy's a dumbass. There is no spirituality, there's no spiritual whatever stuff. There's only like the material world, so there's nothing wrong with being a materialistic person. I don't know. Maybe perhaps so, I don't know, it's all like speculation whether or not there's like a spiritual realm or whatever, but still, if you only care about like materialism and you just want to be like a materialistic person, you just want to get a lot of money, get a lot of expensive cars, get with a lot of women, all of that stuff is going to make you want to off yourself at the end, I'm telling you for sure. That's why Robin Williams, why did he fucking kill himself? He had everything going for him, why did he fucking off himself? Why do all these like rich famous people off themselves? It's so fucking weird to me. It's because all these types of things, these materialistic things, they cannot offer you any type of real fulfillment. It's like a hamster going on a wheel. You want real fulfillment, you want happiness and joy, but you're chasing these materialistic things, and they're not going to offer you anything meaningful and happy. They're not going to give you any type of real fulfillment. It's quite a tragedy, isn't it, to me? It's quite a tragedy. Well, not to me, but to you as well, hopefully. I don't know. That a lot of us, we're all like becoming so materialistic, and is it a coincidence that a lot of us are now suffering from depression and anxiety and all these mental health problems? Because a lot of us, we completely neglected spirituality, but I don't blame you, because what like spirituality, especially in the Western world, has been so fucking dumbed down. Anyway, to get back to this type of topic of spirituality, you know, spirituality is so fucking crucial. The material world will never offer you any type of real happiness and joy. The material world, chasing things that are like to do with like this material world, it's like a hamster going on a wheel. You're chasing things that are so temporary and ultimately meaningless. And I hope my video can help you realize this. A lot of us, we chase things that are so temporary and meaningless and pointless. I don't understand it. And a lot of us, we don't realize how temporary and meaningless a lot of these types of materialistic things are. A lot of money, who the fuck cares? At the end of your life, all that money is not going to mean anything when you're an old geezer and you're going to die and go in the grave. That's not, having a lot of money is not going to mean anything when you turn into some old fucking geezer. Having like expensive cars, who the fuck cares? When you're an old geezer, you're going to be like fucking going into the grave. Who the fuck cares about like all the shitty expensive cars you might have? All of these things is so important, because a lot of us, we go down, a lot of us human beings, like we choose like the materialistic path and stuff, and it's not a coincidence that a lot of us, we become like so like depressed and sad and miserable, and we have all these mental health problems. I don't blame you though, because a lot of us, especially if you're from the Western world, but then again, even like if you're from India or like these other like places that are like filled with spirituality, India's kind of like, a lot of Indians aren't that spiritual in my opinion. A lot of Indians are kind of like they're just as materialistic as like people from the West. Not just Indians, like Iranians, Afghans, Pakistanis. I don't know if Pakistan, anyway, but you know, like even us, like we're like kind of like a lot, like nearly everyone around the world is sort of materialistic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being materialistic. Again, it's like a very primitive, like tribal caveman thing. We like things that are pretty and nice and shiny and expensive. That's like a very primitive, like caveman instinct. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you only care about materialism and being like a very materialistic person, you're gonna be wanting to fucking off yourself by the end of your life. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how much money you make, how many expensive cars you have, how many women you slept with and stuff. All that shit becomes meaningless after a while. That's why all these celebrities, these famous rich celebrities, they fucking off themselves. Why is that? Why do all these fucking Robin Williams, he could sleep with any type of woman he wants. He fucking off himself, man. He had all the money he could possibly want. He fucking offed himself. He had like the mansions, all this fucking stupid shit that we think is like very important. He had all of it and he fucking offed himself. I know, okay, you know, back to spirituality. What is spirituality? Then tell me about it. Why you're saying that we don't understand spirituality? Well, tell me what it is. I can't tell you it because, you know, I know it's kind of like a fucking big fat conundrum now. I'm kind of making things worse. I don't know. Spirituality, what does it mean what does spirituality mean? Basically, it means to like find peace in things that are actually meaningful, to look at things that are meaningful, like maybe perhaps religion for you, Islam, Christianity. I do advise you to like look into Islam specifically. I don't know, I made a bunch of different types of videos on this. Is Christianity versus Islam versus Christianity. You can check them out, but you know, definitely look into religion. Well, spirituality, at least in my opinion, to put it into my own words, spirituality, it basically means that you look into things that provide you with like meaning and happiness and joy and fulfillment. Not just like get a lot of money, expensive cars, sleep with a lot of women, all these types of things. It's like a hamster on a wheel. You're gonna like you want fulfillment, happiness, joy, but you're chasing things that are so temporary and meaningless. You're chasing these materialistic things. Again, it's like a hamster on a wheel. You want fulfillment, happiness, and joy, but you're chasing things that are so temporary and meaningless, like money, women, all the expensive cars, all these types of things. It's like a hamster going on a wheel. You're never going to experience any real fulfillment. Again, spirituality, what is spirituality? Spirituality is basically us human beings. We look into things that are actually meaningful and that aren't temporary, and that things that are going to give us like some type of lasting like happiness and peace and contentment, you know. Meditations typically, like when a lot of people talk about spirituality, typically a lot of us, we do think about like Indian culture. This is kind of so interesting to me. When we talk about spirituality, a lot of us, especially if you're from like Europe or America or something similar, a lot of us, when we think about spirituality, we do. It's so weird to me. We think about Indian culture. Isn't that kind of very interesting? I wonder, because the Buddha and stuff like that, meditation, all these types of things come from India. It's kind of so interesting. When I talk about like spirituality, a lot of, especially in the Western world, when people talk about spirituality, they typically they do think about Indian culture. I know you'll be like, no, not me. When I say spirituality, what do you think about? You think about the Buddha, you think about meditation and contemplation, spirituality, yoga, maybe, I don't know. All these things are Indian culture. It's so interesting to me. Spirituality, when I say spirituality, a lot of you are going to be thinking about Indian culture, and you know, Indian cultures or you know, yoga, meditation, all that type of stuff is going to help you massively. Although these things like meditation, yoga, it's kind of become sort of like a vanity, isn't it? Like vanity now. That, oh, I do yoga. It's like something like, oh, something to brag about. It's not even like for your own personal benefit. I do yoga, I meditate. It's because like the reason you do these types of things is because other people think they're like very like good and stuff to do and stuff. You have like you're chasing vanity, not spirituality. And so anyway, that's a big side tangent. You know, again, in the Western world, spirituality is kind of been heavily corrupted. And again, in the Western world, when I say spirituality, a lot of you are probably going to be thinking about Indian culture, Hinduism, Buddhism, meditation, yoga. All of this is Indian stuff. I don't know. But anyway, spirituality, again, super important. Again, but in the West, has been so heavily corrupted and polluted and like mischaracterized. But what is spirituality? To put it into my own words, spirituality is like, as us human beings, we find meaning and fulfillment in things that are like profound and not temporary and mundane. Spirituality is not chasing materialistic things. That's what, to put it into my own words, what it means, like what does spirituality mean? It basically means we chase things that are like not temporary and things that are going to actually give us like real fulfillment and joy and happiness. That's what, in my opinion, spirituality is. Again, materialism is kind of like the opposite. We chase like materialism is like us human beings, a lot of us dumbasses, we chase things that are temporary and pointless and meaningless, like money, women, expensive cars. All that stuff is so temporary and meaningless and pointless. But a lot of us, we chase those types of things. It's like a hamster on a wheel. What we want is like fulfillment, but we chase these types of things that are like temporary and pointless and meaningless. Spirituality, again, to put it into my own words, chasing things that are like not temporary, not mundane, not meaningless. Meaning, purpose, that is like what spirituality should mean. Meaning, purpose, happiness, contentment, peace, internal joy and bliss. These types of things they're getting a lot of money, cars, blah, 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 women, sleeping with a lot of women, all these types of things, they're not going to provide you any internal like happiness and joy and fulfillment. It's like a hamster going on a wheel, or it's like a drug addict. You know, takes like one hit and he feels good, and he has to keep doing it. He has to keep taking these hits, and he's never going to be like content. He has to continuously like chase these like temporary forms of like pleasure and stuff. It's not going to lead him to like any type of like lasting like state of mind that's like good. But anyway, it's lasting like internal happiness and joy. That's what like spirituality is, chasing things that are going to give you like internal happiness, joy, peace, contentment. I do believe spirituality, religion, Islam, Why am I talking about Islam spirituality? Because the Prophet Muhammad, again, you can link it back to his life and stuff when he was meditating in the cave of Hira and stuff like that. Not just the Prophet Muhammad, Siddhartha Gautama, he was meditating, contemplating these guys. They were becoming more, during like the peak of their like spiritual lives, they were becoming more detached from the materialistic world, and they were like retreating somewhere, and they were like contemplating, meditating, thinking about like what is more important, not just like getting a lot of money, expensive cars. They were thinking about all of these more important things, like their existential purposes and stuff like that, and what the root causes of suffering in me and stuff. Man, spirituality. Obviously, I say spirituality, you're probably going to be thinking about Indian culture, meditation, the Buddha, Hinduism, stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people from like Europe and America and stuff, they think about like, when I say spirituality, you're going to be thinking about like Indian culture. I know for sure, meditation, Buddha, Hinduism, all that is from India and stuff. But for sure, I'm telling you, you cannot chase material and be a materialistic person. You cannot chase materialism, chasing like, trying to get like a lot of money, expensive cars, trying to sleep with a lot of women. It's like a hamster on a wheel. You want fulfillment, you want happiness and joy, but you're chasing these things that aren't going to give you that. What's going to give you that is like spirituality, the right form of spirituality, the right understanding and interpretation of spirituality, and what it means to be spiritual. To put it into my own words, spirituality is like us human beings. We try and find peace with ourselves and the world, and we look into things that are like going to give us like eternal like happiness and joy and peace and contentment. You know, Muhammad, the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, these guys, at the peak of their like lives, at the peak of their like spiritual journey, they were like retreating away from their society. They weren't thinking about like money and women and all that type of stuff. They were contemplating on like all these other bigger, more important issues. They're like their existential purposes and stuff like that. That is what spirituality is. If you want to know what spirituality is, study the lives. Oh, the fucking GoPro Hero 9 got too hot. Anyway, if you want to know. The GoPro Hero 9 got too hot and it turned off. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but if you want to know what spirituality is, study the life of the Prophet Muhammad and the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. Study both of these people's lives and you'll understand what spirituality is. They'll give you like a very good glimpse of what real, authentic spirituality is. Don't want to make this video too long, and that's about it.